Alright, so we're here today for the big show with Kathy Mack. I'm going to be interviewing again Mega Marty with his nutrition and fitness business.
Yeah,
buddy.
Yeah, the big show.
Alright, today we're actually going to talk a little bit more about Marty and where he's at right now and how his training is coming along. So today, Marty, what are you training today?
Today is doing a back day, and I think I had some calves and some abs at the end of today too.
Ooh. So tell us a little bit how your back routine has changed over the years.
Oh, that's actually a really good question, is because back to me is almost a lost art, because it's one thing you really can't see in the mirror. I really advocate that I don't like people looking in the mirror, period. I make more or less go for the feeling, but you cannot see yourself training back. It's completely something you need to go by feel for. And that's something I kind of lost, is that I was pulling a little bit too much with my arms, either that or I was swinging a little bit too much of the weight. It was not controlled enough. So I found that slowing the movement down is something that needs to happen quite a bit more. If you swing it around, your lower back will take over too much of the weight. You might feel it in your arms too much, or your forearms will tire out. As you can see here, I'm actually using straps for the weight, because my forearms and my hands just cannot take the weight my back can handle. So I think that's a really important part for myself there.
What kind of straps are those, by the way? Those are different from any of the straps that I've seen.
That's
here.
right. Yeah, those are the Versa grips that I have. They're quite a bit fancier. I actually sell them. They're much better than your conventional strap, I find, because they're very quick. You just kind of slide in, wrap it around, slide in, wrap it around. They kind of hang from where they should be on your wrist instead of on your carpals, which is towards the front of your hand, instead of your wrist, instead of trying to cut off the circulation while you're trying to be training back. That's the last thing you need to be thinking about.
Okay, so what kind of stuff do you do in your routine nowadays for back?
Well, I usually always try to do the compound things. Those are really never ever kind of change. Some form of row, either close grip row, wide grip row, barbell row, dumbbell row. I always love deadlifts. Deadlifts I've responded to very well. That I found that when I properly use them for back, I find that nothing gives you more thickness in your back than a deadlift, especially towards the traps, the rhomboids, and that getting those spinal erectors just to kind of pop out of your back there, making it much more 3D instead of just being kind of wide or having nothing towards the thickness at the top, especially.
Definitely. So what are you deadlifting nowadays?
I don't really go too much by weight. The most I've ever deadlifted, yeah, I'm a pretty tall guy with a lot of legs. The most I've ever deadlifted, I think, is 430 for about 6 reps or something like that. I tried 500 once, and that didn't pan out so well for me. But no, I like a lot of rack deadlifts instead of the off the floor all the time too, so I can feel it quite a bit more on my back instead of my legs trying to take over the whole movement.
Alright, so here's an interesting question, just popping over to your personal training side.
Yeah.
What do you tell clients when they're new to the gym and you teach them a little back exercise? What's their response, usually? Are they confused? Do they not want to do it because they feel that they're going to get big in the back, or what?
No. I try to explain it that there's 2 different parts. That you have a width and you have a thickness, and I really am a big fan of that, because it helps much more with their understanding of what's kind of going on. I'll tell them that they need to think about their elbows for everything, because actually, even with women, most women will desire a nice shapely back. If you ask them, would you like to have a back like someone, I'll pick out someone with a good back in the gym, will say, yeah, that'd be great. So that's really not an issue with women. It's usually just chest muscle being overpowering, arms being overpowering, or having way too big of legs. They don't really want to have monster legs either. But when it comes to back, no, most women are really excited to train their back, especially because I tell them that their posture will be helped immensely if they do correct and proper back training.
Okay, so this is actually, I came up to you when you were doing this and I asked, what are you doing here? Like, it's different with your hips pointed down to the ground. Usually I'm straight across, but for you, you set yourself up differently.
Yeah, this is a very advanced movement that I don't really show most people or like to tell most people about, just because it's very much so specific for myself, due to the fact that I have a really weak, something called an anterior serratus. So I need to be doing this movement to strengthen up my posture, because I actually don't have a big chassis, which also has caused my muscle gain to really be hampered due to the fact that it's never quite been in my genetic structure to get that big. So when I was moving around weight incorrectly, my postural muscles actually went out of place. So now that special type of pull down I was doing there was actually trying to set them back into place and strengthen them up so that I can be able to handle more weight.
Okay. And this was an ab exercise that you're doing?
Yeah, that's just all I'm thinking about is just pretty much bringing my chest to my top of my hips, and that's kind of it. And it's very, very controlled. There's no swinging. There's no.
It looks like fun.
It's absolutely. It looks like I'm doing absolutely nothing, but the pain is horrible, and the upper ab is really good. Yeah.
All right. So if someone was lagging with their back, Marty, what would you suggest that person to do for exercises?
It's like I said earlier, definitely slow it down. There should be no bouncing ever. There should be no swinging ever. It's way too easy to lose the connection there. And definitely think your elbows are what's doing the work. Your hands do not need to exist, hence why I have those straps there. But just really be focusing on getting a big squeeze and keeping your chest up and your shoulders down through almost all movements, getting a big stretch in the movement and then pulling it back. Not only forcefully, but you also want to be controlling it on the way down so you don't lose the feeling in the back to ancillary structures such as your rotator cuffs or your forearms or your biceps, because if you give that movement a whip, that's what you're going to feel. Your arms are going to take over, because that's what everybody wants to believe they're doing, is lifting with their arms, not necessarily their back. So just slow it down, take your time, build up the weight, really get a good squeeze, hold it for a couple seconds, maybe even on the contraction, and then slowly lower it back down. Definitely. Don't be too fancy with the movements. Do a pull down, do a couple rows, and then if you feel that you can do it and you've been taught correctly, do some deadlifts, and that's all you really need, especially in the beginning.
Awesome.